Hi, my name is Hannah. Welcome back to my second channel, Hannah Needs to Yell. Today I need to yell about Twitter's hypocrisy when it comes to deaf noodles and the perma ban. This gets me heated because, okay, if you're not familiar with Deaf Noodles, I've started to get to know him and follow him a little more recently, like within the past couple months, so I don't know as much about his past content, but from what I've seen of him, which I have enjoyed, he does these really fast-paced news stories about what's going on with YouTubers and influencers, and he usually offers a little bit of like snarky commentary, but he doesn't really give too much opinion. He's kind of a fast-paced news reporting dude, at least on YouTube. It seems like he has a little bit more of a different kind of Twitter personality. He covers a lot more stories, and that's definitely where he would go and pull a lot of his sources for stuff he would talk about on his YouTube channel. Overall, on the scale of problematic YouTubers and problematic influencers, I really don't find him to be that bad, but I know that there are problems around him because there are these two issues that kind of coalesce and conflict with each other and cause further conflict. One being, he does not respond well to criticism, which, like, welcome to YouTubers, welcome to influencers, welcome to anybody who has an online platform. Like, people in general are sensitive to criticism, and he doesn't handle it the best. Where that becomes a particular problem is that he has started to have this tendency of sometimes reporting what could be known as like fake news, but basically when you're putting out such fast-paced stories the way that he is, and as soon as you see a story, jumping on it, talking about it, sometimes if that story is flawed or comes from a source that is not reliable, then you as the person sharing that story become unreliable. Over the past few months, as he's really blown up, he's been increasing his speed, putting out videos and putting out news stories, and in the process, he's been sharing some stuff that turns out to be false or turns out to have other problems with it. And then when people call him on it, he reacts, like I said, negatively to the criticism. You have to choose one or the other. Either you have to have really great sources if you're not going to be open to criticism because you know your work is so good that the criticism is not valid. Or if you're going to share sources so fast and put out stories so quick without doing as much fact checking and background checking as you can, then you have to be open to criticism and you have to be willing to say, hey, sorry guys, let me correct this. This was wrong. And you have to be humble and willing to do that. That's why these two issues kind of cause further conflict for him. You get this kind of vicious cycle in that way. So at this point, it's been a couple weeks, I want to say. A couple weeks ago, Twitter decided to ban Deaf Noodles. Now, I think this is not the first time that he has been banned. In fact, his account was suspended previously in August of last year. Feitosa, his full real human name is Dennis Feitosa. Feitosa was locked out of his account for violating unspecified rules. Put a big old pin in that unspecified part for later on. After deleting a video he posted of Charli D'Amelio using a vape, his account was reinstated. How interesting when he's talking about golden people of the internet like Charli D'Amelio or James Charles in any light that is not the most glowing. That's always when something tends to happen to his account. And importantly, Twitter never confirmed that this video was the reason for the temporary suspension. Hi, Dixie. Oh, please don't. Not my mirror. So Dennis has said that he did not get any kind of warning, any kind of email, any communication from Twitter explaining why he was banned. And I think that's a huge flaw in Twitter's mechanism, especially with somebody who has a large following. It makes sense to explain why he was banned, especially if we're part of this culture of people who are like, oh, we're anti-cancel culture. We want everyone to learn and grow and do better, and we're not here for deplatforming. We're here for growth. Okay, well, how are they supposed to grow if they don't know what they did wrong? Like, how are we supposed to do the changing part if we don't know what it is that we need to change? Dixie, Dixie, Dixie! Please don't knock over my stuff. That's my tripod. I need that. Are you looking for your box? Hold on. Let me give you... Oh, let me put it on the table first. Okay, all right. Dixie's joining us now. Bless you. I have to just say, like, it makes no sense to me. I am, like, so angry and just, like, this is what I mean by the hypocrisy. Once Dennis had said that he didn't know why he was perma-banned, Keemstar said, hey, I don't like you, Deaf Noodles, because you spread fake news, but let me help you out, just this one time. Saint Father God, Holy Keemstar, descended from heaven to help out poor little Deaf Noodles. Talked to some contacts that he has at Twitter and found out that Deaf Noodles was perma-banned. First of all, it was not known at first that he was perma-banned. And secondly, found out that it was because of fake news. I don't know why Twitter didn't have the time of day to just tell Deaf Noodles that, but for some reason we're gonna have conversations and talk with Keems. So this is what okay, so the fucking hypocrisy. Twitter has to figure out what its morals are. Twitter has to figure out whose side it's on. I just feel so icky about the fact that Keemstar has these like contacts and connections at Twitter and he can go get answers, but they can't give Dennis the time of day to tell him, the person that they canceled, why they canceled him. But they'll tell Keemstar. They'll talk to Kat Tenbarge, who she's a reporter for Insider. So that's a fair person to talk to. She's a reporter. And they'll tell her, yeah, it was not due to being masked flagged. It was due to repeatedly breaking the rules. So I guess the TOS that he broke had to do with sharing fake news. Okay, but you can't tell him that. You're going to tell everybody except for him. How are you going to ban Deaf Noodles for spreading fake news about social media influencers and YouTubers, which like I said, that's not a good thing. I don't want to promote fake news. But you know what else? You have Gabby Hanna, you have Keemstar, you have Onision, you have James Charles, you have Jeffree Star, you have Shane Dawson. You have people who have actually tweeted like dangerous, vile, racist, bigoted, misogynistic, disgusting shit. They're not getting banned. But Deaf Noodles, when he gets a couple stories wrong, he's getting banned. This is the thing. He's a reporter. He's not the one creating the false story. Like in the situation of the fake James Charles victim, who Deaf Noodles was one of the people who talked about it and made it seem real. We're in this culture of believing victims, of listening to victims and believing survivors. Like, can we not just give Deaf Noodles the benefit of the doubt and say like, oh yeah, he was participating in that culture that we're all about right now of not doubting survivors. And then it comes out that it's fake, but the intention was in the right place of trying to believe survivors. Deaf Noodles didn't like do the wrong thing there as much as the person who pretended to be a victim of James Charles. That's the worst person, right? Not the person who reported on the story. The person who made the fake story is worse. But that's not the person we're banning. We're banning Deaf Noodles for spreading the fake story.
Basically, it just feels to me like our anger is pointed in the wrong direction, and taking out Deaf Noodles is just killing the messenger.
If we're gonna ban Deaf Noodles, we have got to also ban Onision, a fucking predator, Keemstar, fucking racist, bigot, sexist motherfucker. At least all of these like scam and spam and bot accounts that are doing nothing but like grabbing people's money from them, and all of these problematic people who have actually done the problematic things. Fake news is problematic, but that's when you give a warning. That's when you give a strike. That's when you communicate, hey, this is something you need to change. That's not when you just like silently ban somebody and don't even tell them why. He still has his YouTube channel. He still has his Instagram, so he's not completely voiceless. But Twitter is one of the main platforms that he needed for his job. He would find stuff, he would share it, he would talk about it, and use that some of that for sources for his YouTube videos. Like, you're greatly impacting what he can do. I'm hearing that his personal Twitter account was banned, by the way, which I feel like that's wrong. Like, ban the Deaf Noodles account, ban his business account where he's actually saying the wrong stuff. But why would you go ahead and ban his personal account? Like, come on, that's a step too far in my opinion. To be clear, when I say that I heard his personal account was banned, I was watching a live stream by Fat Sajak. You're great, girl. And she, during her live stream, went to go look for his personal Twitter account, and it was down. This was Friday. I just feel like that's an overreach. I feel like that's a step too far. Like, what about his, like, social connections with his friends and family and, like, the stuff that is personal that doesn't even have anything to do with the business of his YouTube channel? And if you're not allowed to ban evade, which is basically somebody who is banned on one account, if you start a second account, that's considered ban evasion. So he can't even make, like, a little ghost account that he just goes on to check things out and see what people are saying. So, like, for the rest of his life, Dennis just can't have a Twitter? Like, this is, like, communicate with the man. Tell him what he did wrong so he can learn, grow, change, not be deplatformed, all of that stuff. The hypocrisy of banning Deaf Noodles but rubbing shoulders with Keemstar? Are we kidding? Like, I think we're really missing the point of the true problems and the true problematic people in the YouTube community. And it just pisses me off that, like, of all people to ban, Deaf Noodles, who, while he's not perfect, on the scale of problematicness, he's over here near the bottom. He's not at the top. He's not spreading vitriol and racism and hate and disgusting shit. He's just telling stories, and sometimes the stories are wrong, and he doesn't react well to people telling him that. But let's focus more on the people who wrote the fake stories and who said the wrong thing and made up the crap in the first place, rather than the person who's pointing to it.
Again, don't shoot the messenger, please.
I know that not everybody loves Deaf Noodles. I probably like him more than a lot of other people do right now, just because I have such a tendency to give people the benefit of the doubt. It feels scummy to me that Twitter is banning Deaf Noodles, but completely ignoring the antics of Gabrielle Jeanette Hanna, Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, Keemstar, Onision, and again, the spam and scam accounts and bots that are just out there, like, freaking scamming people. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. But that's just what I feel right now, is that Twitter is being very hypocritical. It's really hard to tell exactly what their morals are and what their boundaries are. I don't like this. It feels gross. All right. I feel like I'm just repeating myself, so it's time to wrap up. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you like and subscribe and join the back alley of the neighborhood. My first channel, my community, is called The Neighborhood. This is the back alley where we all hang out and talk shit. So if you want to hang out in the back alley with me, subscribe, like the video, etc. And then I'll link my first channel in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. I'm figuring out my sign-off still. Goodbye. I don't know.